last home game of the season at Soldier Field, and we've got the live preview right here on United Bears Recap. Hi, everyone. I'm Luke Canellis, along with my partner Dan Jiggets. Big game, especially for the Vikings, who need this win for seeding in the playoff picture. Still, there is something at stake for the Bears in this game as well, isn't there?
Oh, yeah, and we've been talking about the last couple of weeks, and this is a reality for everybody. And you're starting to hear some of the players recognize the fact that, a lot is at stake. Next year is at stake. Your jobs are at stake. And let's look at it this way. Sometimes you take things for granted. You say, well, I'm going to be in a uniform for somebody next year. Maybe so, or maybe not. You never know, and that's why every time you go out there and you have the opportunity to do something, you do it as well as you possibly can.
Coming up over the next half hour here on United Bears Recap. With Adewale Ogunleye down and out, Alex Brown mans the captain's quarters on the defensive line.
Wow.
Plus, with the NFC playoff picture set, the Bears still have a chance to play the role of spoiler and deny the Vikings home field advantage in the playoffs. They end up Hunter Richmond McGee, should Brad Maynard not play, correct?
Yeah, guys, and actually we're kind of trying to find out at this very moment sort of what the Bears' injury situation is for this game. But, Brad Maynard was dealing with that groin injury, and Lovey mentioned it on Saturday when they were practicing. So we knew that maybe it was going to be an issue, and obviously they have that roster spot now because they put Adewale on injured reserve. And they've got some other injuries. Also, we got to figure out what they're going to do with Devin Hester. He did a little bit in practice on Saturday, and obviously we know Kevin Payne's going to be out. He did not practice all week with that sprained ankle. I think the other big question for this game is going to be Alafalava. He did a little bit in Saturday's practice, so they've got a lot of things to worry about coming into this game against the Minnesota Vikings, guys.
I want to talk to you about the safety position coming up, but let's get back to Maynard, because the loss of Maynard also means the loss of Robbie Gould's holder on field goals. Who's the backup holder on this team?
Well, guys, we're going to try and see, because I don't know for sure if we know Maynard is going to be out of this game. It looks that way. You would think that if they signed a McGee, but as of right now, we do not know. We'll try and get that information. In fact, we got a producer running around upstairs trying to get some of that for you. And obviously, that would affect Robbie Gould because he is so familiar with Maynard being his guy holding for him.
A lot of times, Kip, what happens is they use a backup quarterback or somebody like that. So I'm wondering if Caleb Haney might be that guy, or, maybe, one of the receivers. Because, number one, you want somebody with pretty good hands to catch the ball and get it down in position. But that's a key element in the game. You've got to have that holder and everybody else in concert, or Robbie Gould, is really not as Gold as he normally is.
Yeah, no question. I mean, obviously, they've got guys that can do it, and you don't want it to be someone that's never experienced it and done it before, and you want Robbie Gould, most importantly, to be comfortable. So, there's always, it's like every other position that we have on the field, there's always going to be someone that gets some practice out there in a backup position. And as you can hear, the Star-Spangled Banner being practiced behind us, guys. But, hopefully it won't be too big of an issue. The number one thing, if the Bears want to have success in this game, they're going to have to put some points on the board through touchdowns.
Kip, you talked about the safety position. Yeah. If Kevin Payne and Alafalava both sit this one out, it means Craig Steltz and Josh Bullocks will start at safety tonight. Right. If that's the case, would you expect Brett Favre to test these guys early and often?
Yeah, I'm sure he would. You're talking about two guys back there that have not played a lot this season. Daniel Manning did tell me earlier in the week that he will stay in that nickel position, so we do know that if both those guys are out, it will be Steltz and Bullocks. And then the other concern is if those guys go down, they don't have a lot of backups there, so that would be a question mark. But you think Brett Favre, being a veteran quarterback, when you see a couple guys back there playing the deep parts of the field that don't have a lot of experience, have not played a lot this season, you think you would definitely attack those guys.
Let's talk a little bit about the defensive end situation, and who do we think is going to start tonight in place of Adewale Ogunleye, and who's going to rotate in? Is Jerron Gilbert finally going to get an opportunity to get significant snaps in this game?
Yeah, the feeling all week was that Mark Anderson would get that first shot in there. We do know that Jerron Gilbert is definitely going to get some time in this game. You know, Lovie Smith never wants to give us too much information on who's going to play. So earlier this week, I didn't ask him if Jerron was going to start, but he did say he was going to play. We had a chance to talk to Jerron. He's excited. You know, guys, he's a guy who's a third-round pick. He came in. People were sort of excited to see him because the Bears talked about his athleticism and everything he could do on the field. So he will probably get significant playing time in this game. And Gaines Adams, of course, was a little bit nicked up later in the week, so we don't know what his status is, but we certainly will see a lot of Jerron Gilbert, at least more than we've seen at any point during the course of this season.
All right. Kip, thanks for the time and the info, and we'll catch your reports later on tonight.
Okay, guys.
All right, Kip Lewis joining us live from Soldier Field. You can catch Kip's live report from Soldier Field as soon as the Bears and Vikings go final tonight. Flip it right here for Bears Game Night Live, actually post-game live. Boyle, Miller, Azuma, Jiggets are here to break it all down. You'll hear Lovie Smith and Jay Cutler's post-game press conferences. It's
counting down to the Bears.
I don't think we have to convince others. I think we have to convince ourselves and just continue to a lot of us are speaking it, but it doesn't end up showing up on Sunday. So on Monday, hopefully we get a win and we'll start finally believing. I just think it takes time. We had a lot of injuries in a lot of places that weren't expected. I feel like it'll all come together. You know, Rome wasn't built overnight, so it's going to take some time with new faces in there and just building camaraderie all over again. And I think you're going to go through that. We just went to the Super Bowl 3 years ago, and it takes a while. You're going to get right back there. What's left of the game is just going out there and proving to yourselves and stop talking a lot and just go out there and play football.
Tommy Harris playing on one leg. That's not a good thing for the Bears.
It's easy pick tonight with Brett Favre and Brad Childress wanting to put things behind them. Home field advantage still at stake. The Minnesota Vikings need to play well and will play well and win tonight.
Well, here they are. It all boils down to this.
The only thing I can say is, come on, man. The Bears are going to win the game.
Why not?
If they win, all drinks at Dick's on Coast.
Not so fast.
It's obvious I'm taking the Minnesota Vikings because I'm finishing and winning. I'm taking the Vikings.
This is a must-win for the Vikings. As far as style points going down the stretch, we see what's happened to New Orleans. That momentum is crucial. I'm going with the purple.
I'm picking the Vikings, and I'm going to be watching closely the game plan. I want to see how they're going to play this one because it's an indicator for the playoffs.
Hey, you not the boss of me?
You're not the boss of me.
Okay.
You're not the boss of me.
I'm picking Buffalo.
All right, good pick.
Buffalo.
I know they want to run the ball with Peterson, but those safeties are susceptible, Bears. Vikings 24-13.
I forgot appetizers, too.
Sports appetizers. You got to love this, our Sports Nation poll. Louisiana knows that if the Bears win, the Saints are the #1 seed. Why not pick the Bears? They're going to Ditka's for free.
But what's with Illinois? What the heck's going on? What? Come on. Wake up there, will you?
Coach. Vote early, vote often.
Oh, boy. Must have the wrong candidate.
What time does the restaurant open, Coach? Tell everyone.
Early in the morning, yeah. We'll be up there early. You come in early. Nobody will be there, but help yourself.
Well, listen. We hope that everybody enjoys the last few days of this year and of this decade and has a happy new year and a new decade from all of us here at ESPN to all of you out there. I mean, it's the 40th season of Monday Night Football coming to a close as well. We hope we've given you a little bit of enjoyment, including tonight. So happy and healthy new year and new decade for Tom and Chris and Key and Coach and Adam and Mort and Steve. I'm Chris Berman. Thanks. Now let's head back to Soldier Field where Chicago hopes to deep dish Brett Favre and the Vikings playoff position. Here's Mike Tirico.
Thank you, Boomer. Frigid night at Chicago for the Vikings, visiting their longtime rivals, the Bears, on ESPN's Monday Night Football.
I'm not much.
It's a frozen stage tonight. The wind chill's around 10 here in Chicago as Brett Favre and the Minnesota Vikings take the field with hopes of getting a step closer to the #1 seed in the NFC playoffs. We welcome you to ESPN's Monday Night Football launch, engineered by the GMC Sierra, as the Vikings and Bears set to take each other on. We welcome you to the wrap-up of the 40th anniversary season of Monday Night Football and the last NFL game of this decade. Very, very important for Minnesota. The math is simple. If the Vikings can win tonight and beat the already eliminated Giants on Sunday in the Metrodome, get a Carolina win at home against New Orleans, then Minnesota would be the #1 seed. You'd have to win in the Metrodome to go to the Super Bowl out of the NFC. The Vikings haven't lost at home all year. They can be anything from the 1 to the 4 seed, depending on what happens the next week plus. Now, for the Vikings, the entire talk this week has been Brett Favre and Brad Childress. Is there a conflict between the two that we saw last week in Carolina? When we met with them last night, they deflected that talk, and our guys are going to break that down in a little bit. But as I bring in Ron Jaworski and John Gruden, I'm looking at the record, and they've lost 2 of their last 3. And if you want to be the #1 seed, you got to take care of on the field, not the quarterback coach stuff.
No question. I think Brad Childress is going to remind his team, hey, don't let the weather be a factor tonight. It will be if you let it. And let's not take the Bears lightly. I don't care how bad we beat them earlier in the season. The Vikings got to go out there tonight and lay down an NFC North championship. And the way they do that is by hitting on defense and tackling much better. They are not happy with the way they've gang tackled in the last couple of weeks. But this is a big game for the Minnesota Vikings, and they know it tonight.
Yeah, on the other side, it's the Chicago Bears story. And the Bears lost badly to the Vikings just about 4 or 5 weeks ago. And Jaws, let's talk about Minnesota. One of the biggest disappointments of the year. As you came into this season, you thought their generations-long problem, the quarterback, was solved. Instead, Jay Cutler's thrown more picks than anybody, and it's been the biggest of many Bears problems.
And they've got a lot of problems, but I think they've lost their identity, lost their philosophy. When you think of the Chicago Bears, you think of defense, and you think of Mike Singletary, Dick Butkus. They stop the run. They smash the run. Well, they're 26 against the run this season. And they think of the Bears, the running game, downhill running game with Gale Sayers, Walter Payton. You're not getting that this year. Only 88 yards per game, 29th in the league. And turnovers. Lovie Smith always talks about turnovers. Don't commit them. They have 33, the most in the NFL. Tonight, the Bears must get back to playing Chicago Bear football. This is their first game of the 2010 season.
Well, it's still 2009 with hopes of a Super Bowl in 2010 for 40-year-old Brett Favre and the Vikings. And when we come back, from audibles to authority, we'll talk about the story of the week and how it may play out on the field. Dominated the Bears against them at Soldier Field, obviously almost all as a Packer, and 5-0 against the Bears on Monday Night Football, trying to do it now as a Viking. Now let me take you back to last week, because Brett Favre was beaten up, 4 sacks and a bunch of other hits by the Carolina Panthers. The tackles played poor. Favre was on the ground. It led Brad Childress to think, hey, maybe I should pull my quarterback. It led to what Favre described as a heated discussion, Childress described as a stream of conscience, and there was talk of, let's get our differences settled behind closed doors this week with the two. Now, Jaws, this has been a season-long issue, at least what we hear, regarding audibles and changing plays. So give me the big picture perspective on what happened with Childress and Favre last week.
Well, Brad Childress had a plan and still has a plan for Brett Favre. But we got that plan way back in August, actually on the 29th, when we went to Eden Prairie to visit the Vikings in training camp. And Coach Childress told us the plan was, I've got to keep Brett Favre healthy. He's been on a pitch count. He's been given rest. And Brad Childress saw his quarterback getting beat up last week. He was thinking of taking him out because he knows this. No quarterback in the history of the NFL has started a playoff game that's been 40 years or older. His meal ticket to Miami and the Super Bowl is Brett Favre, and he needs him healthy.
John?
Well, frustration kicks in when you lose 2 out of 3 games, and that's new to the Minnesota Vikings. And Brett Favre didn't want to come out of the game, and Brad Childress had a little disagreement with him on that. But the Minnesota Vikings have won back-to-back division championships for the first time in over 30 years. And Brett Favre, the legend, has had the best single season of his career statistically. And you know all the stats, Jaws.
I know all the stats.
And personally, I can't remember a quarterback and a coach not arguing throughout the length of this season. I mean, you threw 180 interceptions.
It was 164, John.
Well, none of them seemed to bother you.
Well, they didn't bother me.
Well, no wonder Dick Vermeil got out of coaching after coaching you for 10 years.
You coaching geniuses.
You know what? You fumbled 39 times and lost all of them.
Oh, Brad, you called an audible. I'm taking you out the game.
Now, I can tell you, the Philadelphia Eagles will never forgive you for all.
You've been watching ESPN.
When the Vikes and Bears meet at Soldier Field, the NFL's best shine under these lights. The Black black and blue division. Get it on tonight. Ready? Come on and get ready. I mean, really ready. Ready. Are you ready for the football? A Monday night party where primetime pigskin officially started. Get those helmets flashing, the crowd is sight. All my rowdy friends are here on Monday night. Along the lakefront in Chicago, the Bears home finale, and it is cold. It's been cold all week. It's the last Monday of the decade in Chicago, and guess what? There are a ton of fans here to see a team that hasn't been very good. That's why you love this city and love the fans of the Midwest. We take you along the lakefront here in Chicago and show you that it's 22 degrees with the wind blowing from the bottom left to the upper right of your screen as you watch the game. Only at 6 miles an hour. It's supposed to gust a little bit more as the night goes on. The wind chill in the mid to low teens. The Bears have won the toss and have elected to receive, so Ryan Longwell will kick it to Danielle Manning, who has one kickoff return for touchdown in his career. For the last time this decade, off we go from Chicago. Short kick, fielded by the Bears, Rasheed Davis. And he'll only get out to the 27, 28-yard line on the return. Keith Farwell, great special teams player, over there to make the tackle. So here comes Jake Cutler. Those 25 interceptions. You've heard the number mentioned quite often anytime someone discusses the Bears. It equals the NFL's second highest single-season interception total since 2000, when Brett Favre threw 29 interceptions in 2005.
Mike, he also has 19 touchdown passes, 60% complete. I don't want to bury him yet.
Nope, and you know what? Watching the Baltimore game last week, the Bears lost in Baltimore 31-7. They had two good opening drives that self-destructed with turnovers. The first run is for Matt Forte. It's about 3. Jasper Brinkley makes the tackle. The other guys around Jay Cutler, Forte averaging less than 3.5 yards per carry this year. Devin Hester out for the 3rd straight game, so Devin Aromashadu starts with Bennett, Knox as the receivers, Oates in the tight end. Up front, they have played very poorly. Olin Kruitz, the center, 6-time Pro Bowler, maybe playing his last home game in Chicago. He came out this week and said the organization needs to be fixed top to bottom. That led to a closed-door meeting as the week went on. After the gain of 3, here's Cutler's first pass of the night. Oh, and it's nearly interception number 26. It was in and out of the hands of Ben Lieber, the linebacker. We'll have 3rd down coming up.
Well, here's another picture of Jay Cutler late down the middle and just forcing the ball inside. You're going to see the Minnesota Vikings play zone defense, and these linebackers just read Cutler's eyes. And you just said, what, 25 interceptions? 25. That should have been 26. That's not a good start.
And again, he almost made up his mind he was going to throw inside to Greg Olsen. He had Earl Bennett going down the seam. He had an opportunity for a big play.
Olsen in motion, 3rd and 7. And Cutler's shot is knocked down. It'll be 4th down. Easy stuff for Antoine Winfield, and the Bears go 3 and out of the gate.
It's easy to be critical right now of the Bears offense, but I think that's a great start for the Viking defense. They did not play well last week against Carolina to their standards, and this gives them an opportunity to set Brett Favre up with great field position.
Good season for Darius Reynaud, returning punts. Brad Maynard has a groin problem. We'll see how his kicks go tonight in the cold. There'll be room for Reynaud once he gets his hands on this 43-yard punt. With a marker down, Reynaud is down. Well covered by Nick Roach and Corey Graham of the Bears. And we'll hear from Gene Steratore, our referee, for the first flag of the night. We'll see where Favre and the Vikings will take over. As Brett comes back to a place where he has played so well and so often, but in different colors, obviously. All his division days with the Packers. And part of the intrigue is how Favre will play in the cold weather, because he used to be great in cold weather, but of late, he has not done as well.
And here's Gene.
During the kick, personal foul. Number 21 of the receiving team blocking a player out of bounds. That 15-yard penalty will actually be half the distance to the goal. First down, Minnesota.
Asher Allen was working on one of the gunners, and once they get out of bounds, you can't hit him and keep him out there.
You'll see Asher Allen, number 21, being pushed out of bounds. You got to let him go right there.
Wow. And Graham adds to it by still coming up to make the play. So Tommy Harris tries to get him fired up for Brett Favre, who continues to extend his NFL record. Consecutive start, 284. Longest streak in the history of the league. And from the 13, Peterson. Loss of 3. Tommy Harris leads the charge.
That is great to see Tommy Harris. That's the guy we've been talking about all week. The most dominant defensive tackle in football in 2006, coming back from an injury. Take a look at Tommy Harris, his ability to penetrate and get off the ball, get rid of Herrera and make the tackle. Tommy Harris, when he comes all the way back, Chicago Bears fans will be very happy, Jaws.
Yeah, he's only playing about 20 snaps a game. If they get him healthy, you can see he can dominate.
Officially a loss of 2. Second run, Peterson. Officially loss of 1. Lance Briggs. So 2 of the big defensive players for the Bears. Briggs and Harris make plays on Adrian Peterson. Jaws, do you think we'll see a lot of Adrian Peterson tonight?
Yes. The Minnesota Vikings need to get Adrian Peterson heated up. He needs touches. Brad Childress told us last night he needs between 20 and 30 touches. The same number of passes he'd like to get out of Brett Favre.
Got to run the ball a lot better than that.
Just an FYI, we'll get to the lineups in a minute. Bears down their 2 starting safeties. Shotgun run, Chester Taylor. Shy of the first down, Hunter Hillenmeyer, who's played all season in the middle for the injured Brian Urlacher, makes the tackle. And like the Bears, the Vikings go 3 and out to start.
Dominant start by the defense of the Chicago Bears. That's what Lovie Smith wants to see. This defense has not been good against the run. In fact, they're 26th against the run. They know they have their work cut out for them tonight against Adrian Peterson. That's a good start. And I know they're happy to see Tommy Harris make a play like he made to open the game.
Devin Hester out. Earl Bennett returns punts, took one back for a touchdown last week in Baltimore. 49-yard kick. Bennett catches it on the dive at the 40, and that's where Chicago will take over. Offenses control the first 6 plays, the way it should be on a December cold night in the NFC North. Shut down Adrian Peterson.
And Apple, it's a whole new neighborhood.
Great look at the Chicago River leading through the town. Michigan Avenue full of shoppers. Navy Pier here in Chicago. Some of the sights of Chicago, and there's a football site. Devin Hester, but unfortunately 3rd consecutive game he's missing with a left half strain. Tried to go before the game, did not respond well enough. Matt Forte to the left for a couple of yards.
When you talk about Hester, these Chicago Bears are very young and inexperienced at the skill positions. When you look at Earl Bennett, number 80, he's really a rookie player, although it's his 2nd year. This is his 1st year playing. And Johnny Knox is a 5th-round rookie out of Abilene Christian. Devin Aromashadu. These 3 guys are very inexperienced, and that is very hard on Jay Cutler in itself.
2nd and 9, and a 2nd year back in Forte. Big rookie season runs through the Minnesota defense. He'll be a 3rd and manageable. Chad Greenway made the tackle. Show you who's playing defense for the guys in purple. Always terrific up front, as we know. Jared Allen 2nd in the league in sacks. But Jimmy Kennedy starts because Pat Williams is out. Could be big as the night goes on. Jasper Brinkley struggled at that middle backer spot, replacing E.J. Henderson. In the secondary, great to have Winfield back, made a play on the opening drive. And Cedric Griffin. They have 2 excellent corners who stick their nose in the run game. 3rd and 3. They leave Forte in to block Allen. Cutler gets away and gets it complete to Desmond Clark to the 26-yard line. First down, Chicago. Gain of 27.
Well, the Vikings got good pressure right here. Jared Allen, who's had big days against the Chicago Bears. Take a look at him against Chris Williams. You see Forte get a good chip. The relentless Allen almost gets a sack, but Cutler does an excellent job getting outside of the pocket. Big first down for Chicago early in this football game.
And historically, this is where Jay Cutler does his best work, outside the pocket.
5 minutes in, and after the game's first down, Forte has room. Takes Griffin to the 19-yard line. Good gain in front of Cedric on first down. I mentioned Forte had a very good rookie season, 379 touches, ran for over 1,200 yards. So things were feeling good. This year, Ron, not the same productivity from Forte.
Yeah, and a lot of it is attributed to the offensive line, Mike. It really is. You know, he's lost a little bit of his quickness as I've studied him, but there's been far too much penetration by the defense into the backfield, and he really can't get any momentum going.
Good first down gain of 8. Cutler with a rocket shot that is caught at the 10 by Rasheed Davis. Just the 5th catch of the lead for the former Arena Football League player.
One thing about Jay Cutler, he's always been very streaky. I've seen this guy get hot and stay hot, but he has a cannon for an arm. That's an excellent catch by Rasheed Davis on the outside.
Ball is touching the 10, so Lovie Smith's team is first and goal. Forte left to the side the 2 tight ends were, but they didn't get great blocks, and Lieber makes the tackle on a gain of a couple. Well, among the many stats that have not worked for Jay Cutler, red zone struggles at the top of it. NFL high 6 picks thrown down here.
Well, that's the inexcusable statistic right there. You're taking points off the board. You cannot turn the ball over in a scoring zone. He turned it over 4 times last year in Denver with interceptions. That's 10 picks in almost 2 seasons. Got to be careful down here.
Yeah, and only 47% complete. Very low completion percentage.
Forte dancing through the middle. We'll have 3rd and goal coming from the 4. There's Jared Allen. Was the first guy there along with Jimmy Kennedy.
But Jimmy Kennedy's been a great story. They're really pleased with the way he's played, but they're asking a lot more of him tonight. Pat Williams has been a Pro Bowl run stuffer, and Jimmy Kennedy's going to have to really step up and serve that role tonight, particularly in these goal line situations.
And he's been to 3 straight Pro Bowls. Williams. Bears spread it out on 3rd down. Cutler throws incomplete, trying to get to his tight end, Greg Olsen. Fans wanted a flag on Lieber. Do not get it, and a field goal attempt is coming.
Yeah, again, this is an area where Jay Cutler has had some problems. He has a tendency when he gets back in that pocket to get a little bit frenetic. John, panic a little bit, throw off that back foot, and not get the ball out of his hand in time with the wide receiver. You got to be really quick in the red zone, and that's contributed. That speed of recognition has contributed to those 6 interceptions that he has in the red zone. He's got to be quicker.
Robbie Gould from 22 yards. Bears on the board first, and Robbie Gould is now 2nd on the all-time Bears list, past Bob Thomas, with Kevin Butler ahead in the record. They wanted pass interference on Olsen down here at the end zone. The jostling, no call, but a field. 5 carries from 21 yards. Cutler hit a couple of big passes, and the Bears on the board first. Chicago lost the game 4 weeks ago, November 29th in Minnesota, 36-10. Favre will see what kind of field position Percy Harvin, the electric rookie out of Florida, can give him. Returning this kickoff from the 5. Harvin, who's only touched the ball twice in the last 2 weeks. Injured and inactive a couple of weeks ago and a couple of kick returns last week. Tackled by Tim Shaw. So Brett Favre and the Vikings take over at the 30 when we come back. The Rose Bowl in Terrell Pryor in Ohio State, Jeremiah Masoli in Oregon. The Rose Bowl game presented by Citi. Brett Musburger, Kirk Herbstreit calling for you on ABC. Coverage begins at 4:30. And if you're driving to a party somewhere, Mr. Gruden and I will have the game on radio on ESPN Radio across the country.
Well, I will tune in for that.
Mr. Media will become a radio announcer as well.
Vikings 3 and out first drive. Chester Taylor gains about 3.5 for Minnesota. So Taylor's in right now. Of course, Adrian Peterson is the starting running back. He's only had 151 rushing yards, Peterson, in the last 3 games. Sidney Rice, a big season. Burying the former Bear, feeling healthy. Harvin wants to touch the ball on offense. And Shanko, 9 touchdowns. His offensive line, Brian McKinney, benched last week against Carolina. Brad Childress expects him to have a very big game tonight. We'll watch in pass rush situations. And Favre on 2nd and 7, complete to Rice. Sidney a first down across the 40. That's his 72nd catch of the year. All right, here's the Bears defense giving up 23 game. Mark Anderson starts at defensive end. Adewale Ogunleye out for the season, injured last week. Urlacher's absence week 1 is hurt. Hillemeyer filling in the middle. Lance Briggs still at a Pro Bowl level. Been a disaster in the secondary. Bad play, changing cast all year. Craig Steltz and Josh Bullock start for Al Afalava and Kevin Payne, both starting safeties, out tonight for the Bears. Peterson's back in. And on play action, Favre out of the back, or complete to Rice. Gain of about 8 for Sidney.
Well, I tell you, Brett Favre does an excellent job using all of his receivers, and they move the launching spot. Take a look at the good fake to Adrian Peterson. He comes out clean, makes a good, accurate throw, and Sidney Rice continues to have what I think is a Pro Bowl season.
Second and 2, Darian complete into Bears territory at the 44 as Favre changes that to a pass and they get the first down.
Well, Brett Favre is tremendous in the play-action passing game. You know, when you have Adrian Peterson extend the ball, it'll hold those linebackers. Look at these numbers using the play-action game. Those are huge numbers, and I love the touchdown-to-interception ratio. 8 TDs, no interceptions. The play-action holds those linebackers and opens big voids in the secondary.
After 3 straight completions, stretching it to the edge, and Peterson with a hand in the face of Tillman. And John, the presence of Peterson, if you laid out the perfect scenario, that was it when we saw the play-action pass. The ability to throw it because that guy's such a threat.
Well, that's been this way around here for 3 or 4 years. The big thing is, let's get Adrian Peterson going as a running back. This guy has not taken off in the last 5 weeks. We have got to get him to the corner just like they did right there. Adrian Peterson has got to come alive running the football for the Minnesota Vikings to become a force in the playoffs.
The 37, Favre scans and delivers to Shanko. He's caught 46 balls this year.
You know,
First
we
down.
talk about eye manipulation, reading the coverage. That's what Brett Favre can do as well as anyone in this league. He can move people. Here, he looks to his left, doesn't like what he sees. He knows where his people are. Now watch him shift his eyes to the right. That's playing quarterback at this level. Know where everyone is. He finds Shanko.
Look at the pass protection. That's the one thing they haven't had here in the last couple ball games is that kind of protection. If the O-line can give it to Favre, Favre will reward everybody.
Percy Harvin in, bottom of the screen. Favre, a shotgun run, Peterson. Gains only a yard or so. Good play by Marcus Harrison, second-year man out of Arkansas, combined with Alex Brown on the tackle.
You know, so often we talk about the run setting up the pass. The pass can set up the run. Throw the football, loosen up the defense. All of a sudden you saw the play action pass. The defense begins to worry about it. They worry about the play action. All of a sudden it begins to open up for Adrian Peterson.
Favre out of the backfield. Peterson first down. Dragging Tillman to the 16, but a marker down on the far sideline. Throwing about 5 or 6 yards from the line of scrimmage.
Illegal formation. Offense. Number 12, an eligible receiver, was covering number 87, also an eligible receiver. 5-yard penalty. Replay second down.
Alignment flag on Percy Harvin.
You know, both of these defenses play a lot of zone coverage, and they played it for a long time in these systems, and both quarterbacks tonight are going to have to be very patient and throw the ball underneath, as you just saw there to Adrian Peters.
Second and 13. Rice in motion. Favre bailing out, in trouble, lost the football. And it's covered up by Nafahutahi, the fullback.
Well, just as I say that, Lovie Smith dials up the first blitz of the night. Watch it coming off the weak side of the formation. And you're going to see McKinney struggling to the outside, and right up the middle again is Tommy Harris.
Incomplete pass as Favre was throwing the hand motion there. He got it out as a forward pass before his knee hit down. So he was motioning it, and the officials do call it. Now they talk about it for a minute.
And John, you nailed it. You got Tommy Harris matched against Nafahutahi. That's a mismatch. Tommy Harris, much too big, quick, and strong for Tahi in pass protection.
Take one more look. The fans reacting to the replay. Lovie Smith's in conversation with the folks up in his booth if they should challenge this or not. Now, if he threw it, did it get to the line of scrimmage? It should be grounded.
With the game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 2 minutes, 22 seconds. 2:22 on the game clock.
You know, guys, isn't he in the pocket? It depends if there's an eligible receiver there or not.
Nafahutahi was right in front of him, number 38. Okay. You'll see it right here. Brett's going down. He tries to flick him the ball. That's Brett Favre, classic. Yeah. Incomplete pass.
Yeah. Eligible receiver not looking for the ball. Had no idea it was behind him.
It's called being a good quarterback.
It was intentional but legal. 3rd and 13. Favre pressure. Now he lost the football. And now the Bears have it. Israel Adonijah the pressure. Tommy Harris the recovery. And the Bears turn over the Vikings. Three-time Pro Bowler the recovery. Israel Adonijah had the pressure, but nobody touched Favre as he spit it out.
Well, if you watch a right guard, Anthony Herrera, he is really struggling tonight. Here you see Israel Adonijah just beat him with a speed move to the outside. Brett Favre has no chance. Herrera has really struggled at right guard here in the first quarter. And I go back to the defensive line coach of the Chicago Bears, this Rod Marinelli. I was with him 4 or 5 years. This guy knows how to coach pass rush. And Tommy Harris and Israel Adonijah are off to great starts with that middle rush. Vikings got to shut that down.
And Jaws, you see on that play, that ball came right out of Favre's hands.
Scored it out of his hand.
Scored it out totally. Forte with a run here. And it's a decent first down carry, gain of 4 yards. I want to come back to that in a second because we talked about Favre's recent struggles in cold weather. Jaws, we were down in the field before the game. Handling the ball, it's like a rock right now.
It's hard and it's slippery. I mean, there's a little bit of a dew on the turf. The ball is cold. In fact, we were grabbing some balls and they were slipping out of our hands. Yeah. My hand's not as big as Brett Favre's, but clearly the ball did have some slickness to it.
No huddle look here for the Bears. Greg Olsen, the tight end, with a catch. And a first down into Minnesota territory to the 40. And if the Bears needed some scenario to play out to be in this game, they're getting it through the first quarter.
They're getting, and I love the play call, design, and execution. The movement out of the pocket by Jay Cutler. This is reminiscent of his great years with the Denver Broncos. Get him on the edge. Get the tight end involved. That's when Cutler is at his best.
After the gain of 16, Forte. Jimmy Kennedy gets him in the backfield. Loss of a yard. John mentioned Kennedy before. He was the 12th overall pick by the Rams in the 03 draft. Things did not work out. Problems there. Popped over to the Jaguars for a year and now here with the Vikes.
And Chicago is going to jump into the no huddle. They want to try to get after this rookie middle linebacker, Jasper Brinkley, and force him to make some communication errors if possible.
Cutler steps up, takes off. Through the tackle of Mediu Williams, and a couple of yards shy of the first down. And man, did the fans need something to get behind their quarterback with, and then Cutler just gave it to him on that run.
Well, Jay Cutler's 6'3", 233 pounds. He's a big fella now. When he gets that momentum going downhill, he can move some people, and he did. Mediu Williams only 203 pounds, so Jay outweighs him by 30 yards, by 30 pounds, excuse me.
End of the quarter here in Chicago, and the 5-9 Bears. We didn't know what they'd show up playing for tonight. Looks like they're going to be in it. Denver, Josh McDaniels along with Jay Cutler. Cutler's traded to the Bears, and life looked great. He rooted for the Bears as a kid. This is the Chicago Tribune this morning. Chicagoans woke up to this, how it all went wrong. And from body language to turnovers to bad plays, that has been the story, a thing that was set up so well. For the Bears, who couldn't find a quarterback if they tripped over him. Now they got a strong-arm guy. He's young. He grew up watching the Bears and rooting for them. And it has all gone wrong with the turnovers. But is there a foundation for the future to be laid over the last two games? Good start for Cutler and the Bears, leading 3-0 over the Vikings. This is a 3rd and 3 run with Forte. Keeps it alive, gets out the back door, and gets the first down. What a run by Forte.
That was all Matt Forte. The Minnesota Vikings had the line of scrimmage defended beautifully. Forte bouncing, looking. And you'll see it right here. A little stretch run to the right. Penetration in the backfield by Edwards. All of a sudden, Forte comes to the backside, finds just a little crease to pick up the first down.
Well, the Vikings got to tackle better. That's 3 straight plays they've missed a tackle, and that's the thing they wanted to improve on tonight. That's not good enough for this style of defense.
The 28, Cutler had that slip out of his hands and ruled an incomplete pass. So we talked about it with Favre as well. Roberto Garza, the guard, was backing into him as well.
Well, it was going to be a run. That's what it was. That's what we see so much of. The component of the running game are these smokes and storks and nows where there's a running play call, but if the corner is way off a receiver, the quarterback will stand up and throw him the football. The guard was pulling. That's why he ran into Jay Cutler.
Throws complete to Desmond Clark, the second tight end. Jasper Brinkley, the rookie, takes him all the way back beyond the 40-yard line. Didn't like Clark not letting go, and Desmond comes back at Jasper.
Well, Jasper Brinkley's a rookie, but he played like a 10-year vet right there. Was not intimidated, didn't throw a punch, was very calm when it got close to being an illegal hit.
There's a lot of pressure on this young man, but you throw a little stick in there to the tight end, and Jasper Brinkley, he stayed with that tackle 35 yards. Be smart there, pull off. These officials, they're paid a lot of money to look for anything late.
Well, Brad Childers told us he's a thumper, so he wanted to thump somebody.
Brinkley off the field, 5 defensive backs here for Minnesota, 3rd and 6. Vikings bring pressure. Cutler got rid of it quick. Olsen didn't turn around, and it's 4th down.
Miscommunication. Jay Cutler was looking for the hot read. Greg Olsen was not.
Well, it's a weak side blitz. You're going to see 2 Minnesota Vikings blitz off the weak side. The Bears are going to be 1 short, and Olsen's got to turn and look for the ball. Those are plays that the Bears fans don't like at all. And personally, Ron, I can't stand that either at this stage of the season.
Well, what don't you like about it? Just he's got to turn around and catch a football.
Well, you got to get it done in a game.
Gold good from 22. Gold solid from 42. Hard picking weather, too. The Favre turnover turns into 3 for the Bears. Stars of the NFL. McDonald's presents 2010 Pro Bowl. ESPN, Sunday, January 31st, kickoff 7:20 Eastern. Then at the same site in South Florida, Dolphin Stadium, Super Bowl 44 will be played a week later. The Pro Bowl teams announced tomorrow. It's a big day for players around the league. And, of course, NFL Live and our Sports Center is live throughout the morning. We'll let you know when we know who's going to be in the Pro Bowl.
I hope it'll be a tad warmer down there.
I'm guessing yes. You know, it'll be interesting to see how it works this year with the Pro Bowl on the same site the week of.
It's going to be great. All the stars will be down, all the best football players in the world. I'm excited about it.
I'm excited to watch Percy Harvin take this kickoff back. If I were Chicago, I would be very careful giving that guy an opportunity. He's got a chance to be the Rookie of the Year on offense, and he's a Pro Bowl candidate. I'd be real careful here.
Robbie Gould kicks it away, and Harvin has to go back and get it at the 1. Good speed and a big hit on Harvin. They'll stop him at the 24-yard line. Danielle Manning helping to lead the charge along with Jamar Williams. We'll talk more about Harvin, who's been such a key addition to this offense. Minnesota needs to get him involved again on this side of the ball. Weekend in awesome weather.
I love it.
It's awesome. Isn't it great? Temperature about 20, holiday shopping, Michigan Avenue.
This guy from Tampa's been whining all weekend here.
Favre turns it over last time. Vikings take over at their own 24. And here comes Peterson. And he stopped after about a gain of a yard. This Bears defense is involved and engaged here early on. And let's see, guys, as this game goes on, if Percy Harvin gets involved. He's been out for a week, came back and didn't touch it from scrimmage last week. They need to get him as a part of this offense again, Ron.
No question about it. They've got to start trying to manufacture some big plays. They're staying with the running game. Right now, the Vikings are staying with the short pass game. Eventually, they're going to have to go max protection and take their shot down the field. And usually when they do, it's Percy Harvin they like to look to.
Harvin's missed a lot of practice the last couple of weeks because of migraines. Got him checked out at the Mayo Clinic this week. They feel they have a good plan to manage them, and he practiced fully this week. Peterson away from one tackle, and Adrian Peterson is very close to the first down at the 39-yard line.
I think the Vikings need to really call on their offensive line. They have struggled, in my opinion, in recent weeks. Bryant McKinney, left tackle, has not played to his standards. They have got to get this guy, number 28, going. And they're just not together like they have been in recent years. Loadholt is a rookie at right tackle. Sullivan's first year starting at center. They have not played to the Viking standards that they've set for themselves in their offensive line.
3rd and 1. Peterson, Taylor bounces it to the outside, and Chester gets the first down across the 40 and to the 43-yard line. Chester Taylor, you know, John, we talk about running backs and having a change-up. Adrian Peterson's a great back. This guy's pretty good, too.
This guy's really good. Perfect complement. You know, he leads all running backs in the NFL with receptions on 3rd down. And Chester Taylor in 2006 was a 1,200-yard back himself. So they have 2 outstanding running backs, and Brad Childress uses both of these guys effectively.
He has 80 runs, 40 passing receptions this year.
Very nice hunt.
Oh, the 42 far setting up the screen with Taylor. Holds on to the ball as he was being pulled down by Anthony Adams out of Penn State. Good first down game for the Vikings.
Yeah, nice little change in formation. Percy Harvin was in the backfield, somewhat of a decoy to kind of get that Bear defense to kind of look over to their right, and then they came back with the screen to the right of Brett Favre. Well executed. Well, look at the hustle by Adams. That's a big old tackle at 310 pounds, chasing a running back from behind.
It's a Chicago Bear effort. Lovie Smith has really done a great job coaching effort, particularly on the defensive side of the ball.
That's a coach effort.
Still Taylor, the running back, drawing it near midfield. Hillenmeyer comes up, makes the tackle. Drew, when you lose a Brian Urlacher, you lose your middle linebacker at the start of the season, that sets you back so much, and we don't talk about that enough.
Especially Brian Urlacher. That guy's a great middle linebacker. Plus, he's the tempo setter of this football program here. He sets the tone from an accountability standpoint. If you don't execute a run fit or an assignment, you got Brian Urlacher in your face. And you can't replace that, nor can you replace his sideline-to-sideline playmaking.
Hillenmeyer's done a little bit of that. He's been in and out of the lineup during the season. 3rd and 3. Toss, Taylor, nope, not going to get there. Israel Adonijah And the Bears defense up to the task again. The Vikings will punt.
Well, the Bears love this double-A gap blitz on third down. Take a look at both linebackers in the gap. Brett Favre's just going to say not today, and he tosses it to the outside. But that's an excellent job by Mark Anderson, number 97, turning the play back inside, and there comes Lance Brigg, Pro Bowl linebacker. Big-time play by the Bears defense.
See if Kluwe can pin Chicago inside the 10 off the side of his foot. That is awful. Wow. That is going to be in the 15-yard neighborhood. That baby went out of bounds at about the 35. And they'll mark it at the 34. So just a 16-yard punt by Chris Kluwe. A little dicey if you're a Viking fan right now. Your team's got some issues. Since 1920. Bears home for a long time was over at Wrigley Field on the north side. Bears take over, leading 6-0. Surprising start to this one. Khalil Bell out of UCLA with the carry, shy of the 40 against the Viking defense.
You know, problem again this week is missed tackles. You see Cedric Griffin missing a tackle early in the game, then Cutler scrambling. Watch Madieu Williams, chance to knock him out, and Cutler runs right over him. And then it's Antoine Winfield. Forte does an excellent job keeping a play alive. Missed tackles hurt him last week against Carolina, and they're hurting him again tonight.
Bell gained 6 on his first run, and the former Bruin has a first down as he's taken to the sidelines. So 2 runs with the backup running back, Khalil Bell.
But the one thing you see out of Bell, the minute he gets in the game, he's faster, he's quicker, he can get to the outside.
Well, the Chicago Bears really don't have what the Vikings have, and that's a complimentary back. They signed Kevin Jones. They had Garrett Wolf. They bring in Bell now. They need another running back to help Forte, and clearly Bell's done that early tonight.
Cutler. Olsen. Olsen to the 28-yard line. Gain of 25. Bears first down.
Ron Turner, the offensive coordinator for the Bears, doing a nice job of getting the play action into the game. Just a terrific throw right there from Jay Cutler. He finds Greg Olsen in the seam. Now they're hustling up to the line, pick up the tempo. The Bears right now feeling good about how they're operating offensively.
The save is touchdown at the 29-yard line. Still a big gain of 23. Pressure Cutler, and he'll throw incomplete, almost intercepted by Lieber. Here's the Sports Center right now with Trey Wingo.
All right, Michael, thank you. Texas Tech has suspended head football coach Mike Leach indefinitely amid allegations he mistreated a player following an injury. That player is Adam James, the son of ESPN analyst Craig James. The allegations say he was placed in a closet for 3 hours while he was dealing with a concussion. Meanwhile, Georgia all over Texas A&M in the Advocare V100 Independence Bowl, 44-20. Georgia playing its 13th straight bowl.
A couple more bowls tomorrow. Get a great bowl game every night here on ESPN this week. Bell still the back. His alma mater, UCLA, in action tomorrow. To the 23, a good second down run.
I think Lovie Smith made a great point the other night about playing with the lead. This allows him to run the football. You see the blitz coming off the right side of your screen. Once again, Ron Turner has the right play called. But with Chicago holding a lead, starting a little quicker than they have, it allows them to run the ball, set up the bootlegs, the play-action passes. It shows the effectiveness tonight.
And a good play. They ran into the defensive end. Ray Edwards backing up because of the zone blitz exchange.
Bears are going to take a timeout here before 3rd and 4 inside of 7 minutes. A lot of people around the NFC watching this one. Their interest has been piqued by the good early start for the Bears.
Longhorns battle high school winner Mark Ingram and the top-ranked Crimson Tide. The 2010 BCS National Championship game. Texas, Alabama. Coverage begins January 7th at 8 Eastern on ABC. The national championship lives here.
This game creating a lot of interest in the NFC. We know the 6 playoff teams, but if the Bears win tonight, New Orleans becomes the #1 seed. The Eagles have control of their own destiny for the 2 seed, which of course would mean getting a bye in the first round. And Arizona would still be alive for the 2 seed, all if the Bears upset the Vikings here tonight. And you have the very important game with Dallas playing Philadelphia to wrap up the regular season. Still a lot to do, but Minnesota with a great opportunity to stay alive for the #1 seed. And they haven't lost at home all year. But right now, the Bears, the better of play.
No question.
Out of the Chicago call timeout, 3rd and 4 and a whistle.
A lot at stake for the Vikings, but they're not playing that way.
Snap infraction. Offense, number 57. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Pruitt in the snap count.
And I really think this Kevin Williams is a great defensive tackle, but the Bears are getting after him early in this football game. If I were Brad Childress, I'd go right down to Kevin Williams on the sideline. I'd say, hey, big boy, we got to have you tonight. But this is impressive what the Chicago Bears have been able to do to neutralize Kevin Williams in this game.
A much more manageable 3rd and 4. The Pruitt foul makes it 3rd and 9. Vikings back out of pressure. There's time for Cutler. What's he got? Over the middle, caught by Aromashadu. Devin Aromashadu to the 2. 1st and goal, Bears.
It starts up front. Pass protection. Allowed that play to develop down the field to Aromashadu. Cutler in the pocket. Max protection. Olsen leaves out. Cutler moves around, finds the window to throw the football into. A little bit high, but a great grab by Aromashadu.
Still Khalil Bell is the back. No huddle for the Bears. 1st and goal. And a whistle. Did Garza move or was it the Vikings? Was it Williams?
False start. Offense, number 63.
It was Garza.
5-yard penalty. First down.
Yeah, you'll see Jay Cutler in the pocket right here. The ball just sails on him a little bit. We were talking earlier about the ball being a little bit slick. It's high, but wow. Aromashadu really gets up there and makes a fantastic catch.
First and goal from the 7. Cutler to the end zone. Touchdown, Olsen. Touchdown, Chicago Bears. Well.
This looks like the Jay Cutler that the Chicago Bears thought they were getting when they made the deal.
Well, that tight end, Greg Olson's another former first-rounder. Take a look at Cutler. Little fake in there to Bell, and that is one heck of a throw. No one has ever questioned Cutler's ability to throw the football, but he's making good decisions. They are on fire right now.
That would be an understatement there, John.
Robbie Gould has the extra point. They'll sing Bear Down Chicago Bears throughout Soldier Field. And maybe in New Orleans and Philadelphia, too. What a shocking start. 13-0. The Bears. Oh, they are rocking the field as Cutler is off to a great start, and the Bears lead 13-0.
Everybody was talking about interceptions, but this is what Jay Cutler can do when he gets it going. He can rotate the spheroid. Cold weather, windy weather, it knifes through, and he is throwing it right now with accuracy. Again, Jay Cutler, as John said a moment ago, on fire.
You know, guys, I got to be honest. We met with the Bears. You talked to people around town. Did you guys see this in the Bears?
No. No, I
John?
did not.
Yeah.
Only thing I know is for whatever reason, the Minnesota Vikings, particularly lately, have not been a road team. They have got to find a spark somewhere quick.
This is the largest first-half deficit the Vikings have faced all season. See if Harvin can get him some good field position. First, he'll be taken down at the 35-yard line. Well, why do you want to be home? Obviously, it's easier to play at home. You're more successful.
Well, this team has struggled on the road. 17 points at Arizona a few weeks ago, 7 at the Panthers. Nothing here this week. All the conversation about the offense and audibles and authority and control and all this stuff. And the reality is productivity. And right now, this Minnesota offense is not humming the way it did earlier this year.
Well, think back to the first time these two teams met. The Minnesota Vikings totally dominated the Bears. Totally.
Only 13-0. Still a ton of time left. Let's see what they do on this drive. As Favre gets out of the pocket, sideline throw for Rice. Broken up by Peanut, Charles Tillman, the corner for the Bears.
Well, I think Tillman got away with the little premature contact. It looked like pass interference, but he did not get the call. Brett Favre out on the edge right now. You can see that Brad Childers dialing up some plays, more explosive plays to get the ball downfield. Here you'll see the throw to Sidney Rice. There's definitely contact before the ball got there, but nothing was called.
How do you miss that?
Greg Lewis is in the game. The receiver caught the big touchdown at the end of the game against the 49ers. Running Peterson to the right, running with authority, but met there by Nick Roach, the linebacker, as they take it to the 40-yard line. We'll have 3rd and about 5 coming up.
And these Chicago Bears are really rotating a lot of defensive linemen. You see their rookie, Jerron Gilbert, right there at left end. Gaines Adams playing right defensive end, a guy they traded just several weeks ago from Tampa Bay. They've had some injuries, but they want to see some of these young guys. So far, so good.
And how about these young safeties? Craig Stelton, his first start. Josh Bullock now. Boy, you guys are playing well. Safeties are entering in the running game.
They're confused back here in the secondary. Manning now showing blitz. 3rd and 4, he's coming. Favre hums one, incomplete. Behind Berrien, covered by his former Bear teammate Tillman. 3 and out Minnesota again.
The Chicago Bears came with the blitz. Brett Favre read the blitz. He had Bernard Berrien on the slant. Just a poor throw by Brett Favre. Here comes the pressure. They're bringing it. 0 coverage. No one in the middle of the field. That's a throw Brett Favre knows he has to make. That's a potential touchdown against the all-out blitz.
Boy, he wanted that one back.
Bad punch by Kluwe last time. A little bit better here. Bennett, late fair catch call, makes it at the 22-yard line. A 37-yard punt with no return. Well, Favre and the Vikings offense struggling tonight. Favre below 32, below freezing. Cold weather games. Those are great Packer teams that Favre was a big part of for that 17-game run. They were invincible at Lambeau and outside in the cold. Since then, it's been a little bit of a different story. You remember the game that they played here a couple of years ago, and Favre just looked absolutely frozen and no interest in being out in the cold weather when he was with the Packers as they lost to the Bears. And tonight it's been Favre, but it's also been no running game going for Minnesota. And the offense scoreless so far. And Cutler back at it and taking a shot downfield for Devin Aroma-Shadu. Broken up. Good play by the safety, Tyrell Johnson, as Aroma-Shadu got free for a second.
Well, this is a beautiful play-action pass. Great time to call it with a 13-point lead. Watch Aroma-Shadu on a double move. Little stutter go, and he had Antoine Winfield, but Cutler, he's got to keep that ball outside. That's an excellent break on the ball by Tyrell Johnson.
You know, Antoine Winfield is an excellent corner when he's up in that line of scrimmage in their cover 2 scheme. If you can get him in single coverage, he can be a liability. He got beat there, but the ball was underthrown.
Good shot to Earl Bennett out of Vanderbilt. Gain of a couple of yards for Bennett, the second-year receiver who played, as you see Winfield in on the tackle. Bennett played with Cutler for Bennett's freshman year. Cutler's final at Vandy. They were so close that Cutler, a pro, came back to be the quarterback for Bennett's pro day. That's how close their relationship was.
How many Vanderbilt Commodores are on the Bears team?
5.
5, yeah. 5 Commodores?
There are 11 Vandy guys in the league. And one was just signed this week. 11, and 5 of them are Bears.
I was going to say 10, but Mike knew there was one signed this week. He's always a step ahead.
The development department from Vandy has an office here. Forte, hemmed in. Can't get away from Lieber, so the Viking defense responds with an important 3 and out. Ben Lieber, the tackle.
That's just where experience shows up on his Viking defensive line. It's going to be a screen pass, and these defensive linemen of the Vikings, they felt those offensive linemen leave them early. They smell that screen out. There's Kevin Williams. There's Ben Lieber. Big stop by the Vikings.
Chance for Minnesota to get perhaps its best field position here of the night. Brad Maynard punting to Reynaud. Bounces it down and gets some good roll out of it, too. 45 on the kick, no return. Taking over at the 32 for Favre. Brett Favre and the Vikings. Been a long time without scoring over the last game plus. And tonight, very little going on. Just over 4 yards per pass attempt here for Favre in Minnesota. Not many big plays. They've run 21 total, guys, for 75 yards, while Cutler has come out and had the better game to this point.
Oh, they're 1 for 5 on third down. Not been able to sustain anything yet.
Look at that. A game full of no scoring here for the Vikings over the back end of the Carolina game in tonight's first half. Peterson trying to run with a purpose as he carries Mark Anderson for a few more yards.
I'm sure things got a little dicey on that Viking sideline the last time this offense came off the field. They cannot be happy. Brad Childress cannot be happy with the performance of this offense right now.
No, he can't. And you got to wonder about some of these dome teams coming outside and playing in cold weather, Ron. You know how it is.
It's tough.
Yeah. You're getting older and you don't like the cold weather either.
Josh struggles broadcasting outdoor games. We've noticed the last couple of years late in the season.
Those are tough.
2nd and 3. Peterson punt behind the line of scrimmage. Danielle Manning. Well, this secondary, you made the call earlier. Both starting safeties out, Al Afalava and Kevin Payne. The replacements are playing well.
Well, there's an open side run. You're running it to a formation without a tight end. There's no one there to block Manning. This is a big third down for the Viking offense.
And they'll have the 2-minute warning to think about what they're going to do. 2 minutes in the half in Chicago. Brett Favre and the Vikings trying to keep themselves alive for the #1 seed in the NFC. And right now it's been a no-go and a struggle in the cold here in Chicago. In Chicago.